Morning everyone, again with Hat, talking about some weight loss motivational stuff. This morning what I want to talk about is something called future pacing, which sounds quite technical. It's not really. What it basically is it's looking at your life, where you are, and then taking yourself into the future and looking back. It's quite powerful actually. I say to a lot of people when they make decisions about things, I say, well, look in the future, and then look back at your life and say, what do you think you did? I think for me personally, it's very powerful to know that when I look back, there are certain points, like when I decided to start my training business and things like that, when I look back and go, actually, I'm glad that I did that, and I'll look back and go, oh, at this age, 32, whatever it was, I'm glad I made that decision. And I think this works. This can work on a day-to-day basis, week-by-week basis for most people. It can also do monthly, whatever you want to do. So I think particularly now, we're in November, it's really interesting this year. There tends to have been a shift. I think the whole Christmas spirit thing's coming a lot earlier this year than ever before. Now, it's not saying not to get caught up in that. I know it's a very special time of year, very happy time of year, but sort of everybody sort of knows what's going to happen first, second week of January. Unfortunately, due to media and society, we're quite forced to be quite reactive people, so we respond to external stimuluses. So we say, okay, it's Christmas, I'm happy, it's birthday, it's happy, it's Friday, I'm happy, which is fine, but then you tend to be at the slave of things outside of yourself. So particularly with health and fitness, a lot of people are, I could shout from the rooftops, but they're still going to go into the gyms January packed, not knowing what to do, and end up sort of failing very quickly. So what I say to everybody is take yourself forward with anything in life, but let's talk health and fitness particularly. Take yourself forward to the second week in January and say, right, okay, wouldn't it have been better to start now? So wouldn't it have been better to start on the 25th of November? Wouldn't it be, and you don't need money to do this, so that's not an excuse. You can do anything you want, really. But would it be better to start now? So look back and say, right, I'm glad I started then, rather than say, oh, actually, I'm going to wait 6 weeks, because with every time that you wait, this is going to get more difficult and tougher for you. So you've got to step up. If you look at champions and you look at the guys who are achieving things, particularly some of the guys that I work with a lot of women that have got amazing figures. They've earned that, they've worked hard to get it, and a lot of people say, oh, I want to look like them. Well, trust me, they'll be there in December. They'll be there first week of Jan. They'll be consistently training over Christmas and putting in the work and putting in the effort, to make sure that they get the job done, so this thing continues. There's nothing wrong with getting extra excited over Christmas. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is that look forwards. So look forwards 5 years and say, I'm glad I started training then, or I'm glad I started training at, the age I am now. Look forward 10 years. Look at your life and say to yourself, what do you want to look back and see? Do you want to look back and see, success? Do you want to look back and say health? Or do you want to look back and see the way you're currently going if it's not what you want to do? So it's a really powerful exercise, guys, particularly in weight loss, to say, well, actually, I'm glad I started now. So when you look back, say the end of January, if you take yourself forward to the end of January 2014 and look back at November, say, oh God, I'm glad I did that then. Or do you want to take yourself forward and say, oh God, this has been a hard work. Do you know what I mean? You can do this. It's about imagining things and using that imagination to power you forwards. We're sort of taught in life that worrying's fine. It's perfectly normal to worry about things, but imagination, oh no, that's weird. That is visualizing stuff and all that. And they're the same thing. Worry's just imagining a future that you don't want, whereas you can imagine and visualize where you're going in the future, guys. So make sure that you take yourself forwards and say, when you think about giving up, say, well, okay, in 6 months time, am I glad that I didn't give up, or am I glad that I did give up? Not many people will be glad they gave up, but people still do. So be different. Want to be a champion? Act like the champions do. I'll see you soon. Take care.